Guys, welcome to my channel. My name is FA. For this video today, we're going to be going over comments and variables in Python. Comments are non-executable statements in Python. It means neither the Python compiler nor the PVM will execute them. Comments are intended for human understanding, so it's used to help us understand our code, explain what each line or several lines of our code are doing. So therefore, they're called non-executable statements. There are two different types of commenting features available in Python. There's a single line comment and multi-line comment. A single line comment begins with the hash symbol. That's right. This is a single line comment and is useful in mentioning that the whole line should be considered as a comment until the end of the line. The other way we can comment in Python is through triple quotes. And whatever is inside of this triple quotes does not get executed. It is taken as a comment. So this is a multi-line comment. This is easy here. This is faster. So multi-line comments is useful for when we need to comment on multiple lines. You can also use a single line comment, but using a multi-line comment instead of a single line comment is easier to comment on multiple lines. Another way to also use a multi-line comment is through the triple single quotes, and that is going to be exactly the same as the double quotes. So whatever, this also will not get executed by the Python interpreter. So whatever your preference is, they're all the same. Now let's go into variables. Let's give a single line comment and go variables. What are variables? Variables are identifiers of a physical memory location, which is used to hold values temporarily during program execution. The Python interpreter allocates memory based on the value data's type of variable. Different data types like integer, decimals, characters, and so on can be stored in these variables. So let's get some, what are values? Before we learn about variables, we must know about values. A value is one of the essential part of a program, like a letter or a number. So for example, 5, 9, that would be a value, and the type of data would be an integer. Now, with words, letters, hello, hi, your name, okay, this, it'll be, the type of data would be a string. And a string is basically a combination of letters. In Python, like many other programming languages, there is no need to define variables in advance. As soon as a value is assigned to a variable, it is automatically declared. Let's start assigning some variables. Python interpreter can determine what type of data is stored. So before assigning a value, variables do not need to be declared. Usually in all programming languages, the equal sign is assigned to values to a variable. It assigns the values of the right side operand to the left side operand. The left side operand of the equal operator is the name of the variable. So whatever we put in here is the name of the variable, and the right side is the value. So let's create a variable called name and put our name. So the left side is the name of the variable, which is called name, and the right side, since it's a string, we have to put it in quotes. You can use single quotes, you can use double quotes, whatever your preference is, and FA. Next, let's get height, and let's just put 6. You don't have to put it in quotes because it's an integer. And then let's go with width and go 10.5. And those are all 3 different variables with 3 different values. Now let's put a single line comment next to each one to explain what type of value each variable is. The name, since it's a string, Since it's a combination of numbers, it'll be considered a string. Second, when numbers are always integer, so an integer or int for short. And the third, since it's a decimal, decimals are known as floating point numbers. Floating point. Okay. Now let's print this all three variables to the console. And in order to do so, we'll have to use the print input. Print, and what goes in the middle of this is the name of the variable. Now in Python, it is case sensitive, so whatever you put as the name of the variable, it needs to be exactly the same. So for example, I cannot. So for example, I cannot use an uppercase N. Okay, it needs to be exactly the same as I had it. And let's print the letters. Height. Let's print width. Now, when we print, we should see our result down here. We should see our name, FA, the value of height, and the value of the width. There we go. Now, we can also add some strings to that. And in order to do that, you need to put in quotes. Let's go hi FA. And use a plus. Now, you want to give it a space in between this so the name is not exactly the same. So when you run this, you should see hi FA. If you don't give it a space in between that, make sure you pay attention to this right here, and it'll be exactly the same. So always, give it a space, to make it look cleaner and make it look nicer. Now, there are some common rules for naming variables in Python. Python has some variables-related rules that must be followed. First, variable names are case sensitive. As we saw, if we change this to the capital N, it'll be invalid. It will not run. It'll give us an error because name, the capital N, is not defined. So it is very case sensitive. So make sure you use whatever it is you put it on. Two, variable names must begin with a letter or an underscore. So you cannot put a number. You cannot start with a number as a variable name. Variable names can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscores, like A to Z, lowercase a to C, uppercase A to Z, 0 to 9, and underscore. You just can't begin with a number. The variable names cannot contain space, so you cannot do first name. No, you can't. You can do that, but you need to put an underscore or put it together or use camel case. Yeah. So variable names cannot contain space. Reserved words cannot be used as a variable names. So what are reserved words? Reserved words are Python keywords that are used to perform an internal operation. So some examples of reserved words would be false, true, if, pass, else, except, or, continue, and so on. So if you want to use like an if as a variable name, it'll give you an error. It'll give you an error because it's expecting a statement. So that'll be all for comments and variables for now. And thank you for watching this video. In the next video, I am going to be going over conditional statements. So if-else statements, else-if statements. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.